Chara,
Hello. It's so
how
good
are
to
you?
see you.
I know, it's so good to
I'm
see you
good.
too. The
Mm,
last time Chara and I saw each other was in Nanaimo at
it
our
was
alumni
in person.
retreat. Yeah, so
Yep.
cool.
And I can still feel
Um,
the hugs
I
in my
know,
body.
which is incredible because you currently live in Brisbane,
Australia.
Australia,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I
Exactly.
think
Yeah.
we determined that you had come the farthest to that
Right.
retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
which
that's
is
quite a
so
nice
cool,
little distinction. I
right?
could tell you it was definitely worth it. It really was.
Excellent.
Oh
It was. It
man.
was such a good week. It was such a
Yeah,
good
it
week.
was. It was
I loved
fabulous.
all of it.
Me
And I
too.
am delighted that you are going to be the first speaker in our Voices of Holding Space series, which is so cool.
Yeah.
It sort of feels like a dream come true for me because this was sort of always on our radar, even when we started the center, that we wanted our community to be a part of the offerings that we had. And so it's so exciting to see that come to fruition. And this
Mm.
whole series has been put together by alumni of our various programs, which is so incredible. So I wanted folks to get a chance to get to know you a little bit. So could you give a brief introduction to yourself, the beautiful Chara Caruthers?
Thank you for that. And I really appreciate the opportunity too to share about myself now, but just to share, the sorts of things that I'm interested in the talk and all the rest of it. You all have created such a beautiful, diverse, rich, and deep community that it makes perfect sense, I think, for you to give this, for you to create that space for them to share as well.
Mhm.
So thank you for that.
Oh, my
Yeah,
pleasure.
as you mentioned, I live in Australia. I live not far from Brisbane, Australia, on a little island, not too far away. And I've lived here for some time. I think probably at this point it's probably somewhere around 13 years. But one of the
Mm.
things that most people say to me when I tell them that I live in Australia is, "Wait, but you don't seem to have an Australian accent," which I do not. And that is because I grew up in Southern California, so I'm American, and so I'm living here, by choice, and it's a wonderful place to be. In terms of my background, I have been holding space for many, many years many of those years I didn't actually realize that's what I was doing as a yoga teacher and a yoga therapist and an Ayurvedic practitioner. And more recently, in the last, let's say, oh goodness, maybe 5 or 6 years, I've turned my view towards the psychedelic space. And many people are like, "What? Psychedelics?" The people have these different things, different ways that they think about psychedelics, a lot of which is embedded in our culture, of course. But the psychedelic space is
Mhm.
really opening up as a space for exploring. It's always been a space for exploring kind of who we are, but as a space for deeper exploration of that, but also a space where we can begin to work on healing from some of the more challenging kind of mental health and even physical health issues that a lot of folks are experiencing. So at the moment it's kind of fledgling in that it's not the work in psychedelic space is kind of isn't sort of widely spread in terms of on the ground legalization is one of the challenges of that, and there's various legal jurisdictions for that. But the inquiries and the research around it has exploded since maybe around the early 2000s and is
Mm.
really gaining a lot of momentum. And so I've taken all of the work that I've been doing in terms of holding space in yoga and Ayurveda. I've pulled that into the psychedelic space and am doing a lot of work with folks who are holding space in the psychedelic space. And it's incredible. It's really wonderful. It's rich. It's incredibly rewarding. And I'm seeing how, some of the moment that we're in, um, as a broader culture, all of the many challenges that we're sort of facing, how these modalities kind of pulled together, yoga, holding space, psychedelics, are really being set up to serve um, to serve us, or to serve us as a species, hopefully, to serve the
Yeah.
larger, the larger ecosystem as a planet. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I'm certainly feeling it in my own life and um, enjoying introducing these deeper ideas around holding space to this community, this kind of psychedelic space and community. Yeah.
Amazing. That's
Hmm.
amazing. And I can't help but think as you're speaking of, oh, how important it is to sort of expand or even our imaginations of the things that can help us in this day and age. Like I think we have struggled with a an atrophying of imagination. Like we sort of accepted that, yeah, like these are the only things that can help when that's not always true, right? So it's really exciting to hear that there's all this research coming out and that you're a part of it. Um, and I'm super excited to hear. I'm so sad because I can't even be there live next week, but I'm
It's
going to listen to the
okay.
recording. And I'm
Cool.
so excited to hear about what you've shared. Um, so you have been connected with us at the center. I forgot to look up when you first took the holding space program, but it was a while back.
It was. I want to say foundations might have been 2021 or 2022.
Oh,
And
okay. We were
then,
like brand new. Yeah.
yeah, and then, all the way through and then certification, I think I would have finished maybe last year or maybe towards the end, maybe the
I think it might have been
2024.
2024. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Yep.
2024. Yeah.
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 So yeah, and had been reading, Heather's books and various other things,
Right.
So, and yeah, I have to say, this work and not even just the work, like I'm thinking about the way the work lives in all the people that I've had, that I've been engaged with. It
Hmm.
has truly changed my life. It has changed my life, and it is it's become my life in many ways. Like
Mm.
even on a kind of a more practical and daily basis, the work that I do is holding space in the same kind of format that we do in the courses and
Yeah.
things like that in with the Center for Holding Space. I hold space for small groups of maybe about 8 to 10 people. All of them are
Mhm.
practitioners or practitioners to be, folks who are interested in holding space in a more psychedelic context. And we
Right.
kind of walk and talk through, some of these deeper concepts and inquiries. And so, um, so much of that, of that work that I do day to day really is, it's inspired by all the things that I've learned so far from you all. So I have to thank you for that.
Aw. Well, thank you.
Mm,
Yeah, high praise. Because yeah, you had a lot of training even coming into our programs. And Heather and I, like, I don't know, we always just sort of look at each other like we're just two people. And so when folks come to us, we're like, oh my gosh, like you're so skilled already. And yet, yeah, it seems like it's such a good fit, even just to give you language for things that you're already doing and to help you find a
great.
community of other people who are trying to do some of those same things. Because I know that you
Yeah,
stayed connected with your certification group far past the end of your program. And in fact, I think you still meet like
we
what,
do.
every other
Every
week?
couple of weeks. Yeah, which is part of the
Amazing.
reason why I was like, oh, how far back was I in the program or when did I finish the certification? Because it feels like it's continuing and we've
Continued.
just
Yeah.
become a more, an even more tight-knit group of folks who are continuing to explore, what it means to live this life and to hold space for ourselves and others within it. It's truly, an invaluable support for everything that I do and for my own kind of evolution as a person. So again, yet another thing to really be grateful to you all for, because it's just, yeah, wonderful. I mean, these people come from everywhere. They're like people that I would never have even, come into contact with otherwise. So it's been so good. So, so good.
Good. Um, my internet totally went out just there. So
Oh, did
either I
it?
am going to be frozen
Oh my
on that
God.
section when you were talking, or you will
Frozen.
hear me cuss.
All right.
So I
I didn't
guess we'll
hear you
see.
cuss. So am I.
Maybe Heather, this is your little mark that you may have to edit a little bit of this.
It's all good. It is. I'm sure most people can expect some kind of tech glitch at some point through. So it's all
Ah,
good. Yeah.
excellent. Is there anything in particular that you want folks to know about your upcoming webinar next week? What
Um,
should they prepare themselves for? Or what are the
you know,
curiosities that they might have that would attract them to your webinar?
oh, that's a great question. I think the webinar, I can't even remember the name of the webinar. It was something about, but
Navigating the non-ordinary.
there it is, navigating the non-ordinary. This came out of, the idea for this talk came out of, it came out of a moment that I feel like I'm living through right now. And that echoes a lot of what I teach and talk about around, um, around non-ordinary states of consciousness, and non-ordinary, which is another kind of word for, another kind of word for a psychedelics state. But
Mhm.
that very much mirrors the times that we're living in at the moment. In non-ordinary states of consciousness, those are, what seems to be characteristic of those states is that things can just feel very upside down or, unrecognizable. And so,
Mhm.
as practitioners, we lean into tools for grounding and, tools for, engaging and connecting with yourself and your reality. And so at some point I started asking myself the question, like, how do you navigate these sorts of things from when you're inside of them? Like, how do
Mm,
you,
mm, mhm.
how do you navigate some of these challenges that you're experiencing, or this kind of world that feels very unrecognizable from, from within that space, from a real ungrounded space yourself. And I was asking myself that question as somebody who's a space holder for others. And when I think about
Right,
holding space, it always feels like you're being asked to hold space from a somewhat grounded place. That always
right,
seems to be the foundation of it. Kind of find your center, find your ground, and from there. Um, there you do the work, from that place you do
right.
the work. And I myself was noticing, oh my goodness, I don't feel very grounded here. And I'm struggling, in this world at the moment from various different, ways of looking at it. Having spent a lot of time last year on the road, there was a lot of physical, ungroundedness or a sense of like, where is home and what's home? And then, of course, what the sorts of things that we're dealing with in our broader world, our broader, um, you know, context, have
Yeah.
left a lot of people feeling like, I'm not sure what's happening here. Their reality has sort of been upended. And so I thought,
Yeah.
if I'm feeling this, I know others are feeling this too. And if I'm going to be one of those folks who is being looked at to hold space, for myself and for others, not everyone's
Mhm.
kind of been nominated as a space holder, but we're all doing it in some
Sure,
ways.
sure.
What's a way of looking at this? What's a way of holding this that can help me to, gosh, what's there for me is like, can help me be of service in this
Mm,
space. And so that's really what I'm wanting to kind of, um, talk about and unpack, what that looks like and what that's asking of us as well. Yeah.
mhm. Amazing.
Hmm.
I know I'm very excited. Are you planning to talk the whole time? You leaving it open? Would you have any idea what your format's going to look like yet?
We'll see. The hard part is like I have lots of questions, and so I'm like, I want to know. I want you all to answer your questions for me. Um, but I think there's also just a lot of framing that I want to do for it as well. So, I
Nice.
think I love that. And I think it's really important too that so much of the work that y'all do is so much more about asking questions, than it is about offering answers or solutions to things.
Sure.
And I think to me that kind of a format is a real support for our own, for the way that we engage with the world, our own resilience in it, and
Mhm.
our own kind of ongoing curiosity around it. And I think that is the stuff that's really generative. So yeah, I think what we'll end up doing is I definitely want to talk and kind of frame it and maybe give people a different way of looking at an experience that they're experiencing
Yeah,
already themselves, and
for
then kind
sure.
of open it up a little bit. Yeah. So that's what
Excellent.
I'm thinking. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Excellent. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
If you are not familiar with the way we work at the Center for Holding Space, this is it. Uh,
Mm, it's
yeah,
great.
we go in with an idea and then we sort of wait for mystery to show up and see how it
Yeah.
will evolve. So yeah. Um, please sign up, register. It's pay what you can, minimum $15. We're trying to keep it super accessible. You can sign up for the live webinar, which is happening next week, Tuesday, April 28th, at I believe it's 1800, 6 p.m. UTC Universal Time. Sorry to our, we finally settled on just doing everything at that time because we have
That's a
such an
good idea.
international audience.
Yeah. That'll be
um,
4 a.m. Australia time.
oh
So
my
I'm a
gosh.
little
So if you're in
sleepy.
Australia, you're gonna
Yeah,
have to get up real early to
exactly.
join Chara.
You can do it.
You can be her morning buddy.
There it is.
It's it actually is quite lovely because I've been on calls with you when you've been on very early in the morning, and
Mm,
the light in your window changes as
it
we talk,
does.
which is so
That's
lovely.
right. People can see that. Yeah, that's right.
Totally.
That is nice.
So please do join us for this first one. You don't want to miss it, especially if you have any curiosity at all about the world of psychedelics and some of the things that are coming up there. Chara is has been doing a lot of study and research on that. So you can bring your curiosity and your questions.
For
And even if
sure.
you're not that interested in psychedelics, but feel a little topsy-turvy with all of the things and want to find some really good ways to ground yourself, I think Chara is more than capable of giving you some frameworks for that too. So, is there
Thank
anything
you.
else you want to share before we go?
I don't think so. I think yeah, between the two of us, I think we nailed it.
Yes. All right, come meet more of our community, come be a part of our community. We're all in this together, and together we will something.
I'm with you. I'm looking forward to it, just being back with everyone. So yes, please come join
Absolutely.
us.
Please come. The website and everything will be in all of the place the website usually is. So go check for it there. Thanks so much, Chara.
Awesome. You're welcome.